Why don't we get started? People, I'm sure, will be popping in over the next few minutes, but I just want to say thank you to everybody who's here online with us today. We have Diane Reed presenting employment marketing, recruiting for employees. A little bit about Diane. Diane is a nationally recognized speaker, writer, and communications professional who currently serves as president of CU Doctor. Prior to joining CU Doctor, Diane served for more than a decade as vice president of administration for a mid-sized credit union. Her expertise in service-oriented culture change has been cited in such publications as the Credit Union Times, as well as Credit Union Magazine, and a host of other industry magazines. Her unique management style and inventive programming earned her team spots on 2020, very impressive, and a visit from the Treasurer of the United States, and an invitation to the White House. So, which I'd love to hear how that went at some point. But with all that said,
back in the Obama era, so it's been a little fun.
That's awesome, though. That really is very cool. But with all that said, I will turn this over to Diane, and she can take it away.
Well, thank you so much, Mike, and thank you for everyone for having me today and for joining us. We're going to talk a little bit about two of my wheelhouses at the same time. So I worked in human resources and marketing, and I had a whole host of other things, compliance and all kinds of fun stuff, sales, etc. But I always saw that there was synergy between a lot of the different areas of the credit union. So it's kind of interesting to hear Mike talk about being open to other areas now. So it's not just marketers that we potentially have with us today, but some other folks as well. So I came to the credit union through marketing. Okay, so I started in marketing. I was with a university for a while. I was with a trade show organization for a while, and I was with Carfax. You may know Carfax, and I did a lot of their B2B marketing for them before I came into credit unions. So I came kind of through the marketing door and then exploded from there because, as you guys know, you can put a great marketing campaign out there. You can bring all of those members into you, and then if your employees blow it, you didn't get the sale. Okay. You didn't get that member what they needed. So the people part of it to me came out of the marketing side where I saw them as a necessary part of the marketing chain. And in that, I got into human resources. And now I partner with CUNA actually to do the human resources compliance school every year. That's actually my baby. I created it. And I've been running that for many, many years. So I really kind of tried to marry that human resources and the marketing. And today we're going to talk about one of those marriages, and that is employment marketing. What do we mean by that? We mean a marketing that is about your credit union to bring in not sales, but new employees. Okay. And if you've ever talked to your human resources people, please don't ignore them in life. Go ahead and talk to them, have conversations. And you're going to find out that they're having huge, huge challenges right now in recruiting. Because you know what? They're not marketers. They don't know how to sell that job, sell your credit union elsewhere. And that's why we need to marry marketing and human resources. So today we're going to talk about employment or recruitment marketing. We're going to talk about it, what it is, why we care about it. We're going to talk about some strategies that can be utilized to make it happen. We're going to talk about selecting a target audience and channel. Those are kind of the things that you know of as marketers, but are kind of a little bit different for human resources folks. And so you're going to understand how they kind of really need some of your expertise and help to really make this work. And human resources needs to understand how much they need marketing's help to make it work. It's really that synergistic concept. We're going to talk about some tools that you have in your toolbox. These are ones that you may already know about from the marketing side. You may not, because you may not be applying them in the same way. And you might not be thinking really globally in your marketing efforts. Because believe it or not, when you're doing marketing, every time you're talking about your credit union, you're actually doing a bit of recruitment marketing because you're selling the credit union. But you're selling it not only to your intended audience of folks you're trying to get to buy your products and services, you're also talking about the entire brand of your organization, and that goes to the general public who are potential employees at some point or another. We're going to talk about managing that online presence, and then we're going to talk about a little bit of tracking that you need to do to make sure that you're being successful in your efforts, because otherwise you're just spinning your wheels and you're wasting a lot of time and a lot of money on things that aren't working. All right. So what is employment marketing? It really is this simple. It is taking marketing strategies and using those to make your brand visible and appealing to potential recruits. Okay. So you're marketing your credit union as an employer and not just a place to get great products and services for your members. Another way to think about it is when we talk about general recruiting, the way it's been done in the past, we're talking about attracting talent or individuals to a job, okay, to a specific job. You want to be an accountant. You want to be a teller. You want to be, on the front line, okay? When we're talking about employment marketing, we're talking about attracting talent to the organization, okay? We want to attract them to your particular credit union. And then they kind of find the job from that point. We want to bring them to us to look to the job, as opposed to coming direct just to an ad just for a particular position. If you think about your own employment, you probably, depending on how long you've been there, found a posting somewhere. Okay, whether that was online, whether that was, at a university, on a posting board, whether that was through a friend, but it was for a particular job. You probably didn't go, oh, wow, that credit union down the street looks really cool. I want to work there. Okay, that's what we're talking about here. We're looking for the place, and then I'm going to find a place for me at that location, at that credit union. So it's marketing the things that are going to benefit you by going this route as opposed to the old recruiting style. Okay, it's going to make you, it's going to be a differentiator for you. Okay, because we're really going to focus on the experience that an applicant is going to have. So we're really going to be very experientially driven in the process. It's not just a posting. They come in, they interview, they either take the position or don't. Okay. It's also going to be a way that we can really attract drive-by candidates, or what we call passive candidates. A passive candidate is not somebody who went to the ads because I need a new job and I want to become a marketing specialist at the credit union. So I'm going to go through and look at the marketing specialist ads, and then I'm going to pick one and I'm going to go. Okay, because I'm looking for a position. A drive-by or a passive candidate is one that I'm not looking, I'm employed, I'm fine where I am. I'm good. Okay. I'm not necessarily unhappy. I'm satisfied. I might even like my job. But we're going to make this shiny little bauble for them. And they're going to go, wow, even though I'm happy, that looks really cool. I'm going to go there. I'm interested in finding what that's because that looks really neat. Okay. It's that shiny bauble. And so they're interested in looking to see if they can get something better than what they have now. And there are a ton of drive-by or passive candidates out there. In fact, that's where the plethora of candidates are coming from these days. They are passive candidates as opposed to somebody who was out actively looking. Okay. Love this quotation. This is from a company called Adventure, and the person said, passive candidates are not so passive after all. Okay. It probably helps that we live in a FOMO, fear of missing out society, which means that most candidates consider themselves at least semi-active. Something good comes my way, I'll take a peek. Okay. Here, where focus is placed on the candidate experience. We talked about that a moment ago. We want to have a great experience. So even if the person doesn't get the job, they might look at us again in the future. And they might talk to a friend because they had a very positive experience with us. In fact, it actually helps your marketing efforts for your products and services. Because if they had a positive experience, they're going to tell some friends they had a positive experience at this particular credit union that has products and services. And oh, I've seen them. I've seen them. I wonder what they do. Maybe I should take a peek at their products and services too. So it goes full bore to get your brand out there in a very positive way. So the candidate experience is the perceptions and opinion they have about the company's overall recruiting and hiring process. And I would extend that to their entire process, the entire company. Again, so this can extend to your products and services if they're having a positive experience, and they're going to tell two friends, and they're going to tell two friends, and they're going to tell two friends. And now we've created a positive brand for the credit union in general, and in particular about the hiring process. This also greatly reduces something that we call in human resources the abandonment rate. And the abandonment rate is the number of people who I've accepted a position at the credit union, or I have started with the application process, but I get frustrated and I leave and I'm done. Okay, so I don't get that hire. Big deal in human resources, something that we really track to make sure that our efforts are working. So a great candidate experience can greatly reduce that abandonment rate and bring in, again, better and more qualified candidates along the way. Some other statistics for you. People found that 95% people who had a positive experience are more likely to apply again. Okay, it worked once. I see another position there. I'm going to go for it again. Okay. Keep coming back. That shows interest. Again, that's going to be more commitment to the organization. They're more likely to stay a little bit longer. 97% said they would refer others to apply. Okay, I'm going to tell my friends about this. 88% said they would increase their purchase with the company. Again, there's your products and services on sale now. 88%. We're going to think about it because they had a positive experience in the hiring process. And then 55% would tell their social networks about the positive experience. How about that? You got 55% who are now freely advertising your credit union. I'd take that number any day. 86% of HR professionals survey indicated that recruitment is becoming more like marketing. Okay, so HR is starting to get it. Okay, they're getting that, I need a new skill set. This is not something I went to school for. I learned how to write an ad. I learned where I'm supposed to post it. And then I learned all about employee benefits and all kinds of other things. But now I'm learning that it's really kind of marketing that has to be done when I'm trying to recruit. If all of the organization's components aren't working together. So we're talking about marketing and human resources now, but probably some of y'all have already started thinking about some of the other departments that are really coming into play here. Okay. Maybe IT. Okay. So much as what we do now is online that probably we need to bring IT into that circle too, right? To make it work well so that we have a positive experience because we can put a great ad out there. Human resources can set up some great follow-up for that ad. How training probably comes into this and how our frontline staff come in. Because if they're not nice, if they don't handle the call properly, if they don't do the other things, again, we have issues. If we can't deliver on the marketing promises that we make, we have failure. We absolutely have failure. So it's important that everything work together. And 86% of employees and job seekers research the company before they're going there to decide if they're going to apply for that job. Again, we have to market not only that advertisement, but we have to look out for a lot of those tertiary sources that are reviewing us as an employer and make sure that we're marketing properly on those channels as well, because the job seekers are going there to check out who we are and if we can deliver on the promise we're making in that ad. 75% said they're likely to apply for a job if the employer actively manages the employer brand. That's what we're talking about. 86% of women and 67% of men wouldn't go to a company with a bad reputation. And our branding's all about reputation, right? So they're not going to apply if that reputation's not looking good. If they're trying to research us and they're finding out bad jujus, that's a technical term, along the way. And then 68% of millennials, 54% of Gen Xers, and 48% of boomers are going to visit an employer's social media properties specifically to evaluate the employer's brand. Okay. We're going to talk in a little bit, and I'm going to give you a check sheet actually about evaluating your online presence. And there's some things that aren't on my checklist that we're going to kind of chat about a little bit. And I'll give you an example. I have twin 28-year-old daughters, and they're at 28 and a half now, so I'm old. But they are active in the workforce, etc. And I've looked online at things and I'm thinking, oh, that looks really kind of cool and nice. And they're like, oh, look at those graphics. They're old and dated. And I'm like, oh, they are? Because they don't seem old and dated to me because I'm old and dated. Okay. So we need to make sure that we have some fresh eyes. Okay. When we're talking about our target markets, we need to make sure we have members of the target market we're after, right? Review some of this for us to make sure that we're approaching the target audience the way that they need to be approached. We're meeting them where they are, as opposed to where we think they should be or where we're deluded that they are. Okay. So we make sure that we're always keeping a fresh approach. And what do I mean by that? Okay, this is where DEI, this is one of the places that DEI comes into both marketing and human resources. Most of us are looking to make sure that we have a very diverse workforce, because more different viewpoints makes for a richer experience for all. And if we're not being specific about our membership when we are hiring, okay, and when we're looking at a board of directors, I've been preaching this to board of directors for 20 years, that the board of directors needs to look a lot like your membership, okay? And if you're looking around and you're seeing that your employees don't look much like your membership, okay? And I'm talking about age. I'm obviously talking about ethnicity. I'm talking about what languages are spoken. I'm talking about all kinds of preferences, all kinds of social stratification, etc. If they don't look the same, you're not going to get but so far with your marketing efforts, because somebody always is going to look like for people like themselves in an organization. All right. So when I'm going into the credit union, let's say I'm a, I'll say I'm an old white woman. Okay. And I go into an organization and everybody there is a young Asian person. Do I think I'm in the right spot? Probably not. Okay. If there's a mix, I'm good. Okay. But if everybody doesn't look like me, I'm going to think I'm in the wrong spot, which is the same when we're talking about employees. We want to make sure that our members, when they come in, when our employees come in, that they're going to find somebody that they can identify with. Okay. Again, it could be age, it could be race, it could be religion, it could be social norms, etc. Okay. So DEI is going to come in, and we need to make sure we're matching that when we're doing our marketing. Okay. So obviously, if we're putting ads out there and it's going to show people, we don't want one kind of person. Okay. If we are looking at verbiage, okay, we need to look at the way we're attracting them. If we're looking for a younger audience, we can't use old lady language. Okay. So we're going to always look for those things, and we're going to try to make sure that we are kind of moving in that direction, because that's part of our brand. 50% of candidates say they wouldn't work for a company with a bad reputation. 92% would consider changing jobs if offered a role at a company with an excellent corporate reputation. Okay. Back to our passive candidates, right? 92% would look at changing if they have a good reputation. So does reputation matter? Yeah. Yeah. Not just for products and services, but for who you're hiring as well. A strong employer brand can reduce the cost per hire. Another key performance indicator in the human resources world, can reduce cost per hire, but as much as 50%. Okay. Saves money. If we save money in hiring, we're saving money for our members. We're doing good stuff. Okay. And then a negative reputation can cost a company as much as 10% per hire. That should be obvious. Love this quotation. Another one. The war for talent isn't just a buzzword, it's real. Okay, candidates are expecting faster turnarounds because they have a lot more flexibility in their job selection. I know many moons ago, when I first applied for my first job, I waited for probably a week or two for a response for my resume when I sent it out. And then I got that, and they set up a screening interview, and that was a week later. And then a week later after that, I got to come in for the live interview. And then I had to come in for a second live interview to be checked out with the rest of the team. And then a week later, I was offered the job. Okay. That's a long time. Okay. Do you think employees today want to wait that long? No. I sent you my resume today. If I don't hear from you in 2 days, I'm going to probably have walked. In fact, if I don't hear from you in 1 day, on some level, I probably walked. It's usually got to be the same day that you got response of some sort. Now, that response might say, we're reviewing your application. We'll get back to you in 24 hours, 72 hours, whatever that time is. Okay, but it's got to be a short window. Okay, and we have to respond and let them know, I have received what you sent me. Okay, and then we have to deliver on that. We've got to get turned around very quickly. And then we have to get our screening interviews or our other interviews done very, very quickly. Again, that's where the synergies come in, because they're probably going to be really relying on some IT issues or some technological devices, as well as the human element and getting the job done, okay, to be able to turn around quickly. People don't want to wait. If you think our products and services, think about that. How long do people want to wait for an answer on a loan application? Okay. If they wait too long, what do? They walk, right? They went someplace else. Okay. Do we want them to walk when it's our loan application? No, we need those loan dollars, right? Okay. Same thing here. Do we want that great candidate to walk because we were too slow? No, we do not. So let's talk about selecting that target audience. I've already kind of talked a little bit about that DEI issue and how we go about things. But some of the things we're going to be doing is we're going to start with a job description. Now, this is going to be much more in the HR realm, and they're really going to have to focus in on the description for that position to make sure that it is a sound description, that it's correct. For a whole host of reasons, a lot of them are legally responsible, but that job description is probably what the HR person is going to need to share with the marketing person to say, this is what we're looking for. Okay, this is what we're looking for. This is what we have to advertise for. I've got to have these things. Okay. Some of the things to do then are to consider the skills required for the position, clearly. And then make sure you're considering all those DEI policy or programming issues as well. From that, then we got to go look at our targeting channels. Okay. What options do we have for getting our message out there? Okay. How do we get the message out there? Where do we get that message? Is it radio or television or billboards or internet or leaflets or magazines or newspapers, or what is it? Where are we going? Is it the local university? Is it the local coffee shop? Okay. It could be. I've seen a great many people who use this technique, and I think it is marvelous. If you have Starbucks, I know you guys have Dunkin' Donuts a lot for coffee houses, etc. They've usually got a posting board, okay? And people go there who are generally younger, okay? And who are usually a little bit more technically savvy, usually things that we're looking for in an employee. They're also usually attracting a more diverse audience, so it's not just going to be the same kind of person that's sitting there. There's also a secondary human resources side to advertise in some of those places, particularly Starbucks. Starbucks has been a wonderful ground for master's students, for a lack of a better term. These are students who they've already gone through undergrad at a university, and now they are in Starbucks working as a barista, okay? Because they are now working on a master's degree. Why are they at Starbucks working as a barista while they're working on their master's degree? Because Starbucks gives them benefits. that are second to none. Okay. They are getting health insurance. Okay. Even if they're working part-time at a Starbucks, they're getting flexible work hours so they can fit it in with their schedule when they're going to work. They've gotten this great pool. So if we're advertising in these places, in addition to all these people who are going through and getting their coffee and their donuts and their danishes, etc., we're also passively advertising to that lovely cream of crop that's sitting there developing as employees in those locations as well. So you have all those kinds of opportunities for where you're going to go. And a lot of them are going to be based on who you are trying to get. Okay. If you are looking for a teller, are you going to advertise in a heavily IT oriented place where everybody has their bachelor's degree? Probably not. Okay. Because that's not who you're looking for. Okay. If you're looking for an IT person, are you going to advertise in a very generic way for anybody for the credit union? No, you need specific skills. Okay. So you're going to want to find those targeted channels based on the skills and the type of person that you're looking for. If you're looking for, say you're trying to expand into a specific market, let's pick, let's say the Hispanic market or the Latino market. If we don't advertise in a Latino or Hispanic advertising venue, whether it's a television channel that is of that nature or a news magazine or a newsletter, we're missing the boat. Okay, we've got to go where the people are that we're trying to attract. All right, so we're going to start with our online and physical presence because branding matters. Okay, we're going to ask ourselves, are we going to go with online or traditional / old-fashioned targeting? Depending again on the position and what you're trying to accomplish, both can work. Okay, but you have to target who you are looking for. Okay, and then which ones? We're also going to ask, we're going to start getting a lot more specific in our targeting. Okay, we're not just going to spray it out there and see what sticks. We're going to go for an IT position where the IT people are. We're going to go somebody who we need bilingual. We're going to go where a bilingual person's going to be. Okay, so we're going to go and start specifically segmenting. Okay, segment marketing, if you will, our target audience, because if we're advertising in the wrong spot, we're not going to get the desired result. The next thing we need to think about then is our content. What is our message? Okay, and we're going to talk about some tools. Tools you have are things like social media, talent networks, career microsites, employee referrals. You know, we're going to go into some depth on the social media in a few moments. A talent network. This could be one that you were cultivating, if you will, your own supply of future employees. Ways you can do this: freelancers. Okay, so if we want to, we have a decent sized marketing department or advertising department. We do a fair amount of writing. Then we might want to use some freelancers for some of those jobs. And then if we really like somebody who's in that group, we already have this talent network that's out there. We also have a talent network that knows others like themselves that we can advertise through. Same thing with interns. Okay, we can use interns in IT. We can use them in accounting. We can use them in marketing. We can use them in a lot of these different places, business development, so that we're developing this cadre of folks that we could hire at some point. And then partnerships. The more partnerships we have with other places, the more we have ability to pull in some folks from our partnerships as well. This could be, I've seen it from everything from restaurants. Yeah, credit union partners with a bunch of restaurants and make some deals with them for advertising. You let ours have some free food. We will advertise you to our membership. Okay, I used to do this when I was in-house. We had moved into a new area. Okay, so we had a new branch in a new area, and we wanted to get to know the community. So I went out to all the restaurants in the area and said, we're going to give our employees free food every Friday for the first 6 months that we're here. The area. Would you like, 50 new people coming to lunch at your place every day? Okay. And if they were interested in this new cadre of a captive audience, they said, okay, well, we'll provide you one of those Friday free lunches for all your staff. Worked for them, worked for us. We got free food. Okay. We're able to give an employee benefit, and they got advertising with people checking out their food. 50 people check out your food. I like your food. I'm 5 minutes away. Do you think I'll think twice about coming to you for lunch at some point if I liked what I had? No, they have a new customer. Okay. And a regular customer. So the, $5 it cost them to give the lunch, or probably $3 it cost them for the lunch, was a free ad and a new customer. So those partnerships can bring. Why do I say that in this context? People work there. Again, you're branding, you're getting your name out there, you are performing those relationships, and now you have another vehicle for advertising when you have things come up. Microsites. This is kind of what we were talking about a few moments ago when I said for when you're looking for your target, where are you trying to go? You're going to go to different sites based on geographic location. Maybe what you're trying to do for your hiring is you've got a new branch opening in this new area. We don't know people in that area. So we've got to think about that geographic location in our targeting. It could be by department based on that skill, education level. Okay, if we know we need a bunch of new grads, might we think about going to the local college or university? Okay, maybe it's new tellers. Maybe we think about, high school grad would be good for that. Maybe we go to the high schools. Okay, is it member facing or a back office position? Those are all the things we're going to think about. We're going to start thinking about those microsites for going for that advertising. So the content we think then is the job is the product. Okay, the product is actually that position. We're going to tell the potential employee how that job can benefit them. Okay, we're going to highlight anything that makes your culture unique. Okay, what it is about the credit union. Why should they work for you as opposed to B of A down the road? Okay, bing, bing, bing. We are a credit union. Think about that. Think about that when you're advertising. Particularly with our younger generations, they like the idea, as do the older ones too, but the young ones particularly focus in on it, that they're making a difference, that they are doing something that is benefiting society, that is helping people. Kind of fits with our mission, does it not? Okay, so it's beautiful that it fits very, very well for us. We're going to highlight any unique benefits that we might have. Okay. And we're going to be honest and authentic, because if we're not, it's going to show up real quick and it is going to backfire on you. Style-wise, we want to go visual. Okay. A lot of people think, oh, an advertisement is a little bunch of little words that are meh, and they all look very similar. So let's get out of that from a marketing standpoint. Let's go visual. Let's use photos and videos. Okay. Videos are actually, I think, is 95% more likely to retain the information they're seeing in a video than anything that's written. Okay. Get personal. Okay. Share your current employee testimonials. Testimonials are great for this. We use them with our members to say, they got me this great loan. They helped me when nobody else would. Okay. We can say the same kind of things when we're talking about a position and a place to work. That's where people spend their livelihood. It's more meaningful to them that they have a good experience there than it is that they had a good 5-minute experience at your teller line. Okay. We want to sell that job, highlight the employee value proposition, and then get creative. Let's talk about style. This is a real credit union website. These are real credit union employees, and it's talking about how they're making a difference in their community. As you can see, they're also, so they're putting out an information there where people, if I go into the branch, if I actually make it in for an interview, or etc., wow, I saw you. Okay, it becomes much more real that way. Much better than stock. Real testimonials. Okay, my favorite part about working at ACFCU is culture, how we treat each other, how united we are. Okay. My current role, I work with different departments to develop procedures and provide training. So I have a firsthand view of how everyone works together to help the credit union grow, starting with our CEO. Okay. That's a lot of good information. Do you look at that and go, huh, that looks like a cool place to work? In fact, they even mentioned that the CEO gets in on it, so that it's not, I'm starting to think this isn't really that hierarchical. So that might be a place for me. Some words. If you are an amazing software engineer, I didn't say if you're a software engineer who wants to do, I said if you're an amazing software engineer, okay? You want to work at an amazing company, then keep reading, okay? I'm more interested in keeping reading now as opposed to needed software engineer, okay? Makes a difference, makes them feel special. It talks about you want to make great money. Yeah, most people would go, yeah, I'll take it. Okay. And it's right in the headline as opposed to needed software engineer. Woo! If you have a unique culture or benefit, use a photo. Okay. Now, this one is not one that we can usually, most of you probably in Maine can't offer this one, but you might have a beautiful lighthouse in the picture. I don't know. Okay. This was a place that was offering travel, that they had places to go that were warm. Again, it's Marriott, so it's a different beast. But you might have things that make you unique, that you can use that unique culture, that unique benefit that you might have. Maybe you have a very generous time off policy. So you might use a picture of a beach or say something, we give 3 weeks holiday the first year you work with us, whatever that benefit is, okay, that might show up nicely in a photo. Humor, okay? And this particular one says, a fin I'll have one more before I go home. If you're an experienced bartender and you can decipher this babble, we'd like to hear from you, okay? So it says, I think I'll have another one before I go home, right? But you would only know that if you're a great bartender. And that's what I'm looking for here, okay? So if you can put a spin on some sort of humor to get you that employee that you're looking for, there's some skill set or something that would work for you. That's a way to go. Be careful with humor. It can work really well, but make sure you test it out on a wide audience beforehand, because what you think is funny, somebody else might not think is funny, and it might even be offensive to certain groups. So you want to make sure you have a very good test audience before you go with the humor. Consider a video, okay? This is one that was looking for an instructor, okay? And so they had a person who was giving their testimonial and such during a video on YouTube, okay? Maybe it's teller, okay? Ever think about being a teller? Here are the good things. This is why I like being a teller. Or this is why I like being a teller at my credit union, because I have all these other opportunities, etc. Then this one, you can even do some gamification and fun, particularly when you're talking about somebody with coding, okay? So this one was, they were looking for coders, okay? And it says, think you can crack this code, okay? And these are all signs for Python, okay? These are all languages. This is actually signs that are kind of fun code for the names of various codes, okay? So again, it's something fun that is very targeted and very specific for who you're looking for here. Is a teller going to look at this and come, oh, I think I'll be a teller there? No, but that's not who you're looking for here. Okay, so you make a game of it and you can have some fun. So I want you to think about it. Just put your thinking caps on for a few moments. Not necessary for you to spend a whole lot of time, but think about it. Okay, so I'm hiring for a data analyst. Okay, we need a data analyst at our credit union. I want you to think about and discuss with yourselves or in your group at your credit union, which credit union has the best culture? Okay, what are the benefits of your culture? What are the benefits of an employee? Okay, what skills do you need for this position? Okay. And then think about what kind of catchy headline can I get that using real features from above. So you're thinking about your credit union. Okay. And what is it about our culture that's special? Okay. And what is it? We have great employee. What is it? What benefit do we have that's great, that's different, that's unique? What can I use to sell this? And what skills do I need this person to have? And then we start thinking about headlines, and we start thinking about the actual advertisement for the position. Now, if you're thinking as you go through this, I don't know that our culture is anything particularly special. It's fine. Benefits, we get the same thing everybody else does. Then you probably have some other work to do. That means that your group that is getting together, that is starting to think about how to market your credit union, how to brand your credit union, you need to come up with some differentiators. You might have some work to do as a team within your credit union to make it so that you are a good place to work. I'm going to assume that most of you guys do have some kind of cultural benefits or culture that works differently from the average place to work. Okay. Benefits you may or may not. Okay. And if it's the benefit is your culture, focus on that. If you really don't have any of those things, you're going to have to focus on those skills. Okay? But I would suggest that your team start talking about branding your organization, particularly for hiring purposes. You start thinking about it in a more holistic way. And if you need to make some changes so that you are a better employer, then you probably need to start talking about making some changes. Okay. Because again, marketing can only sell what you got. Okay. And if you don't have anything good, you're going to still have some issues selling that. So you have to look at it again, more holistically. Now let's talk about leveraging the power of the internet a little bit, because that's where we do so much of our advertising and so much of our commerce these days. So if you don't already know about these things, you need to think really heavily about your search engine optimization, or SEO, PPCs, sorry, pay-per-click, advertising. So here's just some hints if you've never used it. SEO through Google's job feature. Okay, so this is one of the places you might think about advertising and working with getting your message out there. And the key data you're going to need to include to maximize your chances of a higher ranking. Okay, search engine optimization, for any of y'all who don't know, is that when somebody goes on and Googles you, okay, or Googles a position, that you come to the top of the list. Okay, so you want to make sure that you're, on the first, at least on the first page of listings that come up when somebody's doing a search. These are the things that are going to enhance your chances. That you have the salary listed. Okay, they want to know how much they're going to be paid. So you put the salary right there. The description, be sure to include any submission requires, if they're going to have a writing sample, etc. What type of employment, the location for that employment, and the proper title. According to WebFX, 65% of all high intent searches result in an ad click. Okay, so if you're going to advertise there, 65% of the time they're going to click to your next site. Now, how a PPC, pay-per-click ad works is you're going to select a keyword or phrase such as teller jobs in Washington, D.C. Okay. Then you're going to set a bid on how much you're willing to pay for each click to your website. Okay, so when somebody goes in and they put teller jobs in Washington, D.C., and up pops your credit union's name, you're going to say, if they click on that link and go to my website, I'm willing to pay 10 cents for that, whatever the amount is. Okay. If your bid is amongst the highest for the keyword or keywords, your ad's going to appear on that user's page as they search. And if they click on the ad, and only if they click on it, and they go to your website, then you're going to pay the amount that you had bid. Okay, so if your amount is decent, okay, and they get to you, your name comes up, and they click on it and go to the website, now that you're going to pay for that ad. So that's a pay-per-click ad. The benefits of this kind of ad is that they're easy to track and they're easy to manage your budget. Okay, you know that I'm only willing to spend, $500 for this position. So, I'm done when I've done that. Okay. And they're easy to track because they're going to provide you a list of everybody who's clicked, and you're going to be able to find out. Now, PPC ads on job boards, okay, most work the same as Google PPC ads. They're easy to track and they're easy to manage the budget. Okay, so this is when you're on a job board. Again, you're going to pay per click, and when your name comes up, then you're going to pay. The best PPC ad sites, according to Diggity Marketing, they are media.net, Ezoic, Google AdSense, Sovereign, Revenue Hits, Apstera, AdBlade, Bidvertiser, Mediavine, and Infolinks. Those are the best sites for PPC. And then again, your online presence is important. Think about branding. Think about branding. Here's just Navy Federal's, ad. Your life's mission possible. Okay. Again, it's grabby. You got photographs. It pulls you. It's not just, we need a blah, blah. According to Forbes, 75% of job searchers research an employer online before submitting an application. Okay, again, we need to worry about our online presence, not just the advertising we're putting out there, but when they get to our site, okay, what are they seeing? Okay. And where do you need to manage that presence? It's going to be that website. It's going to be Google. Okay, so when they're Googling you, okay, it's going to be Facebook. When they want to check you out, what does that look like? Instagram, LinkedIn, review sites. You may also want to add live chat to your career page so that then when they get to you, they have somebody they can actually live chat with so that you capture them and you can entertain them there as opposed to forcing them to then take other steps and make more clicks. I'm going to give you, I'm not going to go over this all now. I'm going to do that not for a lack of time for us, but I'm going to send Mike this presentation. I'm also going to send him a copy of an online presence checklist. And the checklist just asks you to ask yourself basic questions. And it is exactly what it sounds like. It's a checklist. So if you go to this particular site, is our name correct? Does it list my hours? Okay. Does it, what key information is there? Does it provide a way to contact me? It's going to give you all those pieces that you need to make sure that those ads contain. Okay. I remember early on in marketing, I had a new marketing assistant came to me with this beautiful, beautiful ad they created for the credit union. And it was fantastic. And it had no call to action. So it's like, okay, if I want to get that, how do I do it? You can't make people work for that. Okay. And that's what the checklist is about. It's to make sure that you have all the information that is necessary for you to have a proper presence on your online locations. Okay. So I will send that to you guys if you need it. I'll send it to Mike, but you could also, if you want to email me, I'd be happy to just send it to you directly. My email will be on the last page again if you miss it, but it's Diane, DIANE .CUDOC@gmail.com. Again, it'll be on the last page so you can see it there as well. With everything that we do in marketing, we don't want to keep doing the wrong things and expecting a different result. Okay, so we need to track for success. We need to track things, see what's working and what's not, and then make changes accordingly. So some of the things we're going to track are source of hire. Okay, so we're going to look at, we went through these channels. We went to this channel because we thought that it was going to match our target audience that we're looking for. So we're going to look at that source every time we hire to see where we're getting people, what's being effective for us. We're going to look at social engagement to see how many people are clicking through. Okay, it might be that we find that we're getting a lot of people through this source, but we're not making any hires there. Okay, we're getting interest, so probably our advertising looks really nice, but it might not be the right audience. Okay, we're going to look at time to acceptance. So we're going to see what time it takes from the time that they apply with us or respond to our ad to the time that they accept our offer. How long was that? Okay. And then we're going to see, did they stick with us? Because again, remember I talked about that experience being very important. If it's taking too long, we probably need to make some adjustments. Okay. We're going to look at employee referrals, and we're going to look at cost per hire. Okay. We're getting great people out of this, but it's costing us $50,000 for each one. Might not want to use that one. Okay. So we need to look at the entirety. It requires that successful collaboration between HR, marketing, IT. Okay. Because most of those tracking mechanisms are going to be through electronic means. Okay. So we're going to have IT in our mix with us as well. We're going to have HR because they've got the jobs. They have to come up with those descriptions. They have to work on the culture of our organization to make sure that we have some meat. Okay. Then we have marketing because you guys have the skills to actually market to that position, to check, to find the right target, to find the right channel, to create the right creative, to get the attention of those potential hires. And then we need IT to make it work so that we can track it and we can analyze and we can see where we need to tweak along the way to make ourselves more successful. So here's some other questions for you. Okay, who do you need to help you if you want to make a deep dive into employment marketing? Who do you need to help you? Who else do you need on your team? Okay. And to find that out, what skills do you need that you don't have? Okay. Are you great at creative, but you're tracking? Nah, I don't do the math. I'm tracking, that's not my thing. Okay, so then maybe you need somebody who can do the tracking. Maybe you need somebody IT. Maybe you need somebody mathematical. Maybe you're the person who's great at tracking, but you're not the most creative person in the house. Okay, so maybe you need somebody who's on that team. Maybe you're great at creative, but maybe design isn't your forte. So you need somebody who's on the design side. Maybe you need somebody who can really go out there and find the right target channels for your message. Okay. And maybe you've gone through an evaluation and go, our culture is just like everybody else's. So there's nothing that really stands out. So maybe we need somebody, an advocate on our senior executive team at our credit union who can kind of say, we need to make some changes so that we have something more to offer. And then what systems do you need that you don't manage? Okay. So this might be you even have the system. Okay. Maybe it's the HR CIS system, which is a human resources tracking system. Okay. Maybe we have to have that marry up with an MCIF system to be able to do some crunching for us so that we can do some data analytics that will give us more information to rely on and make these decisions. Maybe it's, we don't have the systems in-house to do the creative that we need. So we need a vendor for that. Okay. So then how do you also make your case for the creation of an employment marketing team at your credit union? How do we make that case? We talked about a lot of the reasons why we might want to do it. Okay. That the job market's really tough right now. That the number one way people are getting employees, a lot of it's through passive channels these days, which means that not only does that position need to look really great, but our credit union needs to look like a good place to work. Okay. So that's part of branding. Okay. So we have branding, and we don't want our employment branding to be completely different from our membership branding. Okay. Because then we've got a disjointed system. Okay. So we need those to marry together. We need good employees. Okay. And we're having turnover issues. We're having recruiting issues. So to create that case, you have to say, okay, here's what we need. Here's how we can make it happen. And we're going to need some coordination amongst these various departments and these various systems to make it work. So we're suggesting that we have an employment marketing team that is a subset of marketing It can be a subset of human resources. It can reside wherever it needs to reside at your credit union based on your size, your complexity, your different skill sets, etc. But I highly encourage you to have a team that you're working for and that they're not all in the same department. HR can't do this alone. Okay. Marketing can't market the positions without the input from HR. Okay. They can't do it alone. Okay. And do it very successfully. All right. Lots of information for you, but I wanted to open up for a few questions if anybody has any. While you're thinking of that, again, I'm giving you my information here. I will provide you with the presentation. I can provide you with that online presence checklist, and I can send those to Mike if you have a way to get them out as well, however it works for y'all.
Yep, I can absolutely do that. After this is all done here, I will be making this video available for this presentation online. I'll send an email out to all the attendees and everyone who registered with the link for this video, also with the presentation and your list and all that information.
Very good.
So,
all right. Anybody have any questions?
I have one actually.
Okay.
Can you talk a little bit about utilizing your current employees, and not just like in your testimonies and videos, but how you can help incorporate your current employees to spread the word about the open positions, the benefits of working at the credit union and stuff like that?
There are lots of different ways. One, a referral program is always a good way to go so that the employee is getting some kind of benefit. I always suggest if you do a referral program that the employee who is the referring employee does not get that bonus until the referee that is hired is there for 6 months, some period of time. But that's always one way to go. Another is to encourage your employees to post on a lot of these sites, things like Glassdoor, that are going to be, they're looking for referrals. They're looking for people to talk about their employment. So encourage your employees to actually post on those sites. That is a good way. Sometimes I even provide employees a template for referral, if they want to do on email or something else that's going to have your logo, etc. on it. It has to be approved that they use it though. They can't just spit out your logo all over the place under their words. That would be a very bad situation from compliance. But that you might have a templates available upon review to put out there, encourage that kind of employment referrals. To even have sessions and a training where you really talk about with the employees, you bring them together in a roundtable kind of situation and say, we're going to talk about employment today. Okay. I want you to tell me about what you like working here. Okay. What is it that you like about working here? What is it about our culture that's really great? Okay. This is going to give you a lot of good fodder too for putting together your marketing message, because it's telling you really what people value. You can think you know what they value, but until you ask them what they value and they're forthright with you, you might not get it right. Okay. So you can encourage that. I also like to reward employees for community service kind of work. So when I'm going to give them the time off. Okay. And then I'm going to have them wear a logo shirt or something that's going to identify them as somebody from my credit union. And they're going to go out and they're going to talk in the community. That's going to spread the word. That's going to provide referral opportunities. And again, it's going to be some branding for your organization, not just for recruitment marketing, but for branding in general as well, so that they're able to go out and you're providing them an opportunity to do that. And I let them choose those opportunities a lot of times, so that if they're particularly interested in animal welfare, they can go work at the animal shelter. And if they're particularly interested in, helping children learn finance, that they can go do that. They can do whatever they want to, but I'm going to provide them the time and I'm going to pay them while they're out there. And I'm going to give them a shirt, and it's going to be a way for them to get out there and get to know more people. I think employee referrals are really great. I think there's one downside to employee referrals, And that is, remember I talked about DEI and how important I think that it is that we have a good mix of different folks at our credit union. Usually speaking, people are going to refer people just like them. Okay. So sometimes it can be limiting in who we're reaching. So we have to keep that in mind when we have referral programs, to make sure that we are looking for and that people understand that we want a very rich representation of our community.
Great, awesome. Anybody else have any other questions before we sign off? Oh, let's see, we have, Ron has a question. Any special suggestions for marketing for part-time jobs?
I think that usually you use most of those things. Just put part-time. The same thing I would look at your targets. Okay. Where are you going to find people who want part-time work? Okay. A lot of times you're going to find people with young children, okay, who want to work while the child's in care or whatever. And then they have the opportunity to be there with them the rest of the time. So we're talking about moms, okay, usually. Sometimes it's dads too. But then you're going to go to where those moms meet, etc. And you can use that as a target opportunity. Sometimes it's somebody who's retired and wants some part-time work. So sometimes going through some retired organizations or target channels can be. So you think about what that target is going to have in common. And it could, again, the first ones that came to my mind are going to be new moms and retirees. And then there's the other people who want to be working from home. That's also a good headline when when it's a off-site position where it's work from home, work your own hours. I mean, a lot of your headline can really take care of that part-time or remote work or what have you, because there are a lot of people who are looking for that and don't know how to find it. So put it in the headline. And then think about your target. Where am I going to find these people? Why do they want to work part-time? What is it that's going on? The other area that might be, it's those people who are part of the gig economy, need more work, part-time position at blah, blah, blah. Okay. So those are the groups that I'm thinking of off the top of my head. But brainstorm it. Think about, where am I going to find the part-time? What areas do I need to go into? And then think about your headline. Your headline can really capture some of those folks right off the top.
Anybody have anything else that they'd like to ask Diane before we close up for the day? No? All right. Well,
All right.
thank you very much, Diane. This has been very, very helpful. Great information. I especially want to say I love Free Food Friday ideas. So if anybody's having any of those, please email me and let me know when and where. But I also want to say that, we have more of these sessions coming up throughout the rest of the year, these workshops. Our next one is actually going to be in April, and it's going to be an in-person workshop here at the League in Westbrook. It's April 4th from 9 to 2:30. Be another full day packed of information. We have three great speakers. We have Janika Pouliot from Page One's Web Solutions. She'll be discussing local SEO. We have a nationally recognized speaker, Nancy Harhut, who will dive into a little bit of marketing psychology and help us discover the brain science that drives our members to explain what they do. And finally, in the afternoon after lunch, we're going to have a hands-on workshop. Rich Brooks from Flight New Media will be joining us, and he's going to be showing us how to use certain tools like ChatGPT, Midjourney. So bring your laptops, because again, this is going to be a hands-on experience. He did say that he would recommend you buying or subscribing to the monthly subscription for ChatGPT. He gets nothing from that, but it's $20 per month, and you can just do it for 1 month if you want to do it for this. The free version also will work, but he's going to be doing a little bit of a deeper dive into some of the pay-for tools that are available in those programs. He's talking about breaking us into groups and doing little sessions. So again, it'll be a hands-on, really, learn about how to use these tools. The cost of that will be $100 per person for that day, and that includes breakfast, snacks, and lunch. The registration for that workshop is available online right now on the league's website under the event calendar, as well as our 2 other virtual workshops, which will be happening in June and September. And Diane will be our speaker again in September. So you can go online now and register for those. I will be sending out emails to everybody as a reminder as those workshops come closer. And again, I'll be sending out an email following up with this workshop. So thank you very much, everyone, again. And thank you again, Diane.
Thank you so much.